Good afternoon. In Parashat Tazria, the Torah's focus occupies itself with Tuma v'Tahara, the elaborate laws of purity and impurity. And this is a major focus of Sefer Vayikra. It's a major focus of rabbinic literature. 1/6 of the Mishnah, Seder Taharot, deals with these laws and how Tuma, how ritual impurity is created and transferred and blocked and ended. And there are many theories over the years that have been suggested about what this means, what the symbolic meaning of Tumah V'Tara is, what the phenomenology, what the experience of being Tameh and becoming Tahor is, what that's like for a Jew. And the theories could fill books, and they do fill books. I'm very drawn to the Rambam's approach, in which he says that Tumah v'Tahara is entirely symbolic. It represents absolutely nothing real, nothing physical, but rather the impact of Tumah v'Tahara is what is significant. And he draws on a number of really two major impacts of this elaborate system of Tumah v'Tahara. One is that the ability to purify oneself through ritual is symbolic of the ability to purify our ideas and the state of our souls through repentance, right? Just as somebody can immerse in the mikveh and come out purified, so too we can adopt a right way of life and a right way of thinking, and in that way our souls can be purified in a more real way, right? In this case, going to the mikveh is a metaphor, okay, for the way that we can instantly change our status in a more profound way, in a real way, through tshuva. Rabbi writes at the end of Sefer Tarot. And the other explanation for Tumah v'Tahara, these rules that are provided by Rabbi, which I think is very powerful, I've spoken about it on numerous occasions, is that Tumah happens. Okay, Tumah is the natural state of being in the world, because there's so many bodily functions and bodily secretions of various kinds that create and spread Tumah, things you encounter in the world, animals and corpses and dead things and growing things and that create and spread Tumah, that most people most of the time are and have always been Tameh. And if you want to obtain a state of purity and maintain it in order to go to the Beit HaMikdash, that requires a lot of effort, a lot of focus on one's environment and one's body and what one is proximate to and who one comes into contact with and when and how and what circumstances. And the purpose of this elaborate system of rules, Rambam says, is so that nobody should just casually walk into the Beit HaMikdash. The Beit HaMikdash requires preparation, days, weeks maybe, of preparation to make sure one's body is tahor, and then one can go into the Beit HaMikdash. And imagine what that's like. You have a space where you can't go without days or weeks of preparation. What does that do to one's sense of awe of this sacred place? And I think that's for better for worse, for better and for worse, we're very comfortable in shul. Our kids run around in shul. We schmooze with our friends in shul. We doze off during a boring sermon in shul. It's a place where very, for those who go to shul regularly, it's a place where very comfortable being. There's an intimacy in the way most of us who go to shul regularly feel about shul, but something's lost that intimacy, and the Beit HaMikdash didn't function that way. You couldn't just walk into the Beit HaMikdash without days or even weeks of preparation and intense focus on one's body and one's surroundings and who one came into contact with. And that was able to, I think, inculcate a certain sense of reverence, a certain sense of appreciation for being in God's home, in a place where the divine presence is resting. And I think the task for us is to maintain that closeness and that intimacy and that familiarity. Shul, come to shul more, but also like finding ways that we can just approach not just shul, but other sacred things, sacred moments in life with preparation. This is something that Rav Soloveitchik emphasized, and his students, who are my teachers, also emphasized. There is no kedusha without hachana. There's no sanctity, no encounter with anything holy without preparation. Okay, and that's true with how we go into Shabbat. That's true how we invest in our sacred relationships with our parents, our children, our spouses, or friends. It's true of how we interact with Torah study, and certainly true about shul. Any encounter with the sacred requires preparation, and according to the degree that one prepares oneself, one will be able to benefit from that sacred encounter. Wishing you all a wonderful Shabbat, and I hope to see you or hear from you in the coming days.